Hello, beautiful soul. Welcome to Jinjin's Cosmic. If you didn't happen to be here, perhaps it's time to meet your soul. Come closer, Scorpio, and breathe. Let the noise of the world fall away and allow yourself to settle into this sacred space. There is a matter of profound importance we must speak of today. A truth that has likely been a silent, persistent echo in the quietest chambers of your heart. It is a truth your soul already knows, but your mind, in its loyalty, may have refused to see. Have you ever stood in the presence of someone who should feel like home, yet found an undeniable chill crawling over your skin? A subtle, energetic dissonance that has nothing to do with the temperature of the room and everything to do with the truth being carefully concealed behind their eyes. It is the feeling of standing in the sun, yet sensing a shadow being cast over you, a shadow that is not your own. This, my dear Scorpio, is not a message designed to instill fear. It is a message of profound awakening, delivered directly from the universe to your powerful spirit. The shadow you are sensing, the one that quietly hopes for your light to flicker and dim, may belong to a face you have loved, a heart you have trusted, a soul you once swore to protect with the full, formidable force of your being. Today, we are going to pull back that veil. We will not do so with anger, but with clarity. We will explore the sacred karmic lesson that is unfolding and uncover the magnificent opportunity you now possess to reclaim your power from a place you never realized you had lost it. But before we dive into these deep and sacred waters, I want you to connect with your own inner knowing, the part of you that has never lied. Have you ever felt that your success, your happiness, your very evolution made someone else uncomfortable? If your soul is whispering a resounding yes, I invite you to anchor your awakening with our community. Go to the comments now and declare with quiet certainty, "My intuition is my sacred guide." Let us affirm this truth together. And if you have not yet joined our family, please take a moment to subscribe so that you never miss these essential cosmic messages designed to empower your soul's journey. Now, let us begin. One of the most magnificent, and at times, most painful aspects of being a Scorpio is your innate cellular level truth detector. It is not just a passing intuition, it is a profound, visceral knowing. You can walk into a room and instantly feel its energetic architecture. The unspoken tensions, the hidden alliances, the truths simmering just beneath the surface of polite conversation. While others hear only words, you hear the frequency vibrating behind them. While others see a smile, you see the micro-expressions of a soul at war with itself. This is your superpower, a divine gift from Pluto, the great revealer of all that is hidden. It is an instrument designed to help you navigate the treacherous and beautiful depths of the human experience. But here, my friend, lies the great Scorpionic paradox. You, who can see the truth with such piercing, undeniable clarity, are also the most fiercely, devastatingly loyal sign in the entire Zodiac. When you love, you do not love in halves. You merge, you bond, you commit with the full, untamed intensity of your soul. And it is this incredible capacity for loyalty, this beautiful and powerful gift, that can sometimes cause you to willingly override your own internal alarm system. You see the red flag. You feel the energetic dissonance. You notice the subtle chill. But your heart, in its profound and noble commitment, whispers, "No, it can't be. I must be imagining it. This is a person I love. I will love them through this darkness. My love will be enough to heal this." My dear brave Scorpio, I am here today as a voice for your soul to tell you, You are not imagining it. That subtle coldness that descends when you share good news. That feeling of being watched by a critical eye, even when you are being showered with compliments. That inexplicable sense of depletion, of being energetically drained after spending time with one specific person that is not your imagination running wild. That is your soul's pristine guidance system, your spiritual first responder, sending you the most important message you could possibly receive. This connection is no longer a safe harbor for your light. Think back. Has there been a time recently when your success felt inconvenient to someone else? Perhaps you shared a piece of wonderful news, a personal victory, a creative breakthrough, a moment of pure, unadulterated joy. And instead of being met with the warmth you expected, you were met with a flicker of something else in their eyes, a momentary dimming, a compliment that felt hollow, like a beautifully wrapped but empty box. Or worse, a subtle but immediate redirection of the conversation back to their own struggles, their own dramas, as if to say, "Your light is making my darkness uncomfortable. Please dim it." This is the signature of a soul drowning in the poison of envy. Your light, my dear Scorpio, is not a gentle, passive glow. It is a brilliant, magnetic, and transformative beacon. It illuminates everything it touches. And for those who are unwilling or unable to face their own inner shadows, your radiance doesn't feel inspiring. It feels like an interrogation lamp, exposing all the parts of themselves they have refused to heal, all the dreams they have allowed to die. They don't hate you. They hate the reflection of their own unrealized potential that they see in the mirror of your joy. Have you ever felt the need to shrink your own happiness just to make someone else feel more comfortable? To downplay your achievements so you wouldn't be perceived as bragging? If you have, you are not alone. So many powerful souls have been conditioned to do this. But this is the moment that cycle ends. This is the moment you give yourself unconditional permission to shine, unapologetically and brilliantly. The souls who are truly meant for your journey will not be blinded by your light. They will celebrate it, for they know that your radiance gives them permission to find their own. The ones who shrink away, who cast the subtle shade, are revealing a painful but necessary truth, one you must now have the courage to see. And so, we must journey deeper. Who is this person? And why has their energy shifted from what felt like love to this silent, toxic opposition? The answer lies in the very nature of your own magnificent evolution. And understanding this truth is the key that will set you free. The soul who now quietly wishes for your downfall is very often not a declared enemy. In fact, they almost never are. The overt enemy is easy to spot, easy to defend against. No, the most dangerous energetic threat, the one that can do the most damage, often comes from the one who once held the title of your greatest ally, your most intimate confidant, your deepest love. Why does this happen? It happens because of the sacred and powerful scorpionic process of transformation. You, more than any other sign, are the phoenix of the Zodiac. It is your soul's destiny, your sacred contract. To periodically enter the fires of change, to burn away all that is false, all that is limiting, and to rise again from the ashes reborn, more powerful and more authentic than before. It is the most beautiful and awe-inspiring process. But here is the hidden, painful truth. Not everyone who loved the old you can handle the reborn you. They fell in love with a specific version of you. Perhaps it was the you that was still healing, the you that needed them, the you that was still figuring things out. Perhaps it was the you whose power was still dormant, a sleeping dragon they found beautiful but unthreatening. They became comfortable in that dynamic. Your perceived need for them fed their own ego, their own sense of importance, their own role in the story. But then, you did the work, as every true Scorpio must. You went into your own personal underworld. You faced your shadows. You wrestled with your demons. And you emerged not broken, but whole. You healed the wounds they were used to tending. You integrated your power. You began to shine with a self-generated light that no longer required their validation or support. And to a soul who has not done their own inner work, your healing feels like a rejection. Your independence feels like an abandonment. Your newfound strength doesn't inspire them, it terrifies them, because it robs them of their purpose in your life. They can no longer be your savior, so they unconsciously choose to become your saboteur. Let us be very clear. They do not want you dead in a literal sense, but they desperately want the new you to fail. They want you to come back down to their level. They want you to need them again. They want to prove that this powerful, radiant, sovereign version of you is just a temporary phase. It is a silent, desperate, energetic tug of war. They are trying to pull you back into the very ashes from which you have so magnificently risen. Have you ever felt this? A subtle, creeping guilt for your own happiness. A bizarre need to apologize for your own evolution. If this is resonating deep within your soul, I want you to take a deep breath, place a hand over your heart, and affirm this sacred truth, either silently to yourself or by writing it down. I will not apologize for my own becoming. You were not born to remain stagnant, just to keep others comfortable. You were born to transform. You are a force of nature, a catalyst for change, and any connection that requires you to be less than who you are is not a sanctuary. It is a cage, no matter how beautifully it is gilded with memories of love. True, divine love does not demand that you shrink. It expands with you. It celebrates your flight. It honors your rebirth. I know this truth can be painful to accept. The realization that someone you love cannot love the most authentic, powerful version of you is a deep and profound grief. But confronting this truth is the most powerful act of self-love you can undertake. It is the moment you stop betraying your own intuition to maintain a false peace. It is the moment you choose the sanctuary of your own soul over the familiarity of a toxic bond. And this brings us to a crucial and perhaps controversial point. It brings us to the topic of forgiveness. Because in this specific karmic situation, your spiritual guides are sending a very clear and urgent message. This is not a time for premature forgiveness. This is a time for sacred, unshakable boundaries. My dear Scorpio, you have been taught, as have we all, that forgiveness is the ultimate sign of spiritual enlightenment, that to turn the other cheek is the highest path, and in many circumstances, that is a beautiful and noble truth. But in the karmic lesson you are facing right now, that wisdom can be a trap. Sometimes, forgiving too quickly before a genuine, demonstrated transformation has occurred in the other person is not an act of grace. It is an act of self-abandonment. It is you sending a message to the universe and to that person that says, "It is acceptable to hurt me. It is acceptable to disrespect my energy. My boundaries are negotiable, and I will always be here to absorb the impact of your unhealed wounds." Oh, how many times, powerful Scorpio, have you offered your incredible, boundless loyalty to someone who treated it as if it were disposable? How many times have you accepted an apology that was merely a strategy to regain access to your energy, not a sign of genuine remorse or lasting change? Think of it like this. If someone repeatedly puts poison in your well, You can forgive them from a distance. You can send them love, wish them healing, and release the energetic cord of anger for your own sake. But you do not, under any circumstances, keep drinking from that well. You do not invite them over to stand beside it again. Forgiveness and access are two entirely different things. You can forgive the soul, but you must banish the behavior from your sacred space. There is a profound difference between being a forgiving person and being a person with no boundaries. A lack of boundaries is not spiritual. It is a trauma response. It is a deep-seated fear of abandonment, a fear of being seen as the bad guy for simply protecting your own sacred energy. Right now, you are at the end of a major karmic cycle. The universe is testing you. It is watching to see if you have truly learned the lesson. And the lesson is not about them. It is about you. It is about your willingness to finally, unequivocally, choose yourself, to honor your own energy, to declare that your peace, your sanity, and your light are non-negotiable. If you are wrestling with this right now, if a specific person is coming to mind, ask yourself this piercingly honest question: am I considering letting them back in because they have truly changed, or because I am afraid of the finality of closing this door? Am I clinging to a memory of who they once were, rather than accepting the reality of who they are showing me they are now? Your soul knows the answer. Trust it. This is not about being rigid or cold. This is about being awake. You can love someone from afar. You can hold compassion for their struggle in your heart, but you do not have to give them a front row seat to your life, especially if they have proven they will only use that ticket to throw stones at your stage. Karma is not about punishment. It is about balance. The universe is not asking you to become a judge. It is asking you to become a guardian, the guardian of your own temple. By closing this door, you are not just protecting yourself. You are also giving the other person the most profound gift you possibly can: the opportunity to finally face themselves without you as a buffer. You are allowing them the dignity of their own consequences, which is the only true path to their own potential healing. So if your heart is aching with the weight of this decision, I want you to whisper this to yourself: I choose to protect my soul. That is not a declaration of war. It is the ultimate declaration of peace. Your peace. And it is the signal to the universe that you are ready for the blessings that cannot enter your life until this toxic space is finally and lovingly closed for good. And how do you know with certainty that this is the right path? You listen. You listen to the persistent, undeniable whispers from your guides, the signs and synchronicities that are becoming too loud to ignore. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, does not communicate in spreadsheets and memos. It speaks in a language of symbols, of feelings, of synchronicity. And for a soul as psychically attuned as a Scorpio, this language is your native tongue. The question is, have you been listening? Think back. Have you had recurring dreams? Not just fleeting images, but vivid, emotionally charged dreams that leave you with a distinct feeling upon waking, a feeling of unease, of warning, of a truth you need to acknowledge. Perhaps you dreamt of murky water, of locked doors, of looking at a familiar face that suddenly becomes that of a stranger. These are not random firings of your neurons. These are postcards from your soul. What about the numbers? Do you find yourself glancing at the clock at exactly 11:11, or seeing repeating number sequences like 444 or 999 right after an unsettling interaction with this person? These are not mere coincidences. These are nudges from your angelic team, confirming your intuition. 11. 11 is a gateway, a sign of rapid manifestation, and spiritual alignment. Seeing it in this context is a powerful message. The path you are considering, the path of separation, is the one that aligns with your highest good. And the music has a particular song with profoundly relevant lyrics started playing everywhere you go? On the radio, in a store, on a playlist you didn't create? This is one of the most beautiful ways your guides speak to you. They use the vibration of sound and the poetry of lyrics to bypass your logical mind and speak directly to your heart. My dear Scorpio, your intuition is not a whimsical feeling. It is a highly sophisticated spiritual technology. To ignore it is to fly a divine aircraft without looking at the instrument panel. You are being warned of turbulence ahead. You are being shown the safe flight path. You must have the courage to trust your own inner navigation. Every time you have ignored that gut feeling in the past, where has it led you? It has likely led to more pain, more confusion, a longer and more arduous healing journey. You have already learned this lesson. You do not need to repeat the class. You are a high priestess, a shaman, a soul who walks between the worlds. You are meant to trust these unseen forces. You are meant to heed these spiritual warnings, because if you continue to ignore them, if you keep trying to rationalize away the energetic truth, you risk missing the window of opportunity for a graceful exit. The universe is holding a door open for you right now. It is a door that leads to peace, to freedom, to relationships that nourish and celebrate you. But that door will not stay open forever. You must choose to walk through it. And what happens when you do? What happens when you finally honor your truth, set the boundary, and close the old chapter? That is when the most beautiful magic of all begins. That is when karma, in its perfect and impartial wisdom, begins its sacred work. And you, my beautiful Scorpio, will have a front row seat, not to their downfall, but to your own magnificent ascent. Here is the most liberating truth you will hear today. You do not have to do anything. You do not need to seek revenge. You do not need to expose their hypocrisy. You do not need to prove to the world that you were right and they were wrong. Your only task is to withdraw your energy, to turn your focus back to your own life, to cultivate your own joy, and to hold your own peace as the most sacred treasure you possess. And then, you simply watch. Karma is not a cosmic punishment system. It is the universal law of energetic return. The energy of deceit, of envy, of manipulation that they directed toward you does not just disappear once you are no longer there to absorb it. It has nowhere to go but back to its source. They will begin to experience the very same feelings of confusion, isolation, and energetic depletion that they were projecting onto you. Life will present them with mirrors, people, and situations that reflect their own behavior back to them, until they are forced to see the truth of what they have done. And the strangest thing will happen, my dear Scorpio. When you see this unfold, you will not feel a surge of victory or a sense of vindictive pleasure. If you have truly done your healing work, you will feel nothing. Or perhaps a quiet, detached compassion, because by then, you will be so engrossed in building your beautiful new life that their drama will seem like a distant echo from a lifetime ago. The true victory is not their pain. It is your peace. You once craved their apology, didn't you? You replayed conversations in your mind, imagining the moment they would finally see the light and admit their fault. You thought that moment would be your healing, but the real healing, the true moment of liberation, is the moment you realize you no longer need their apology to be whole. Your closure does not live in their mouth. Your closure lives in your own 2 feet, walking away. You have cried your last tear over this. You have spent your last ounce of precious life force trying to understand the incomprehensible. Today, you are no longer the victim of their story. You are the hero of your own. From this day forward, walk as the one who knows their worth. Love, but love with wisdom. Trust, but trust your own intuition first. And shine, my dear Scorpio. Never, ever apologize for the brilliance of your light again.